You know, people are sensing an animosity between the judge and the district attorney in the Drew Peterson trial. I was in the courtroom this past week, and I can tell you it was palpable. You could feel it. So I started digging, and I uncovered a bombshell. The judge in this case, James Burmilla, was the district attorney in 1992 when James Glasgow, the DA in this case, beat Burmilla and replaced him as district attorney. There's been bad blood ever since. Former LAPD detective and Fox News contributor Mark Furman, as well as former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney Jeff Gold, and former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney Joey Jackson. All right, guys, you know, the unfortunate thing is lost in the middle of all of this is a victim. And I got to tell you, I was in there, I sat there, I just said, what is going on? Jeff, you were in the courtroom. Could you feel it?
Oh, absolutely. If you heard the word overruled, it was a state's objection. Sustained, it was a defense objection. And that went on day after day after day.
And you know what? He's been described, Judge Burmilla, defeated by this DA, he's been described as furious. The witness for the prosecution, the sister of the victim, left the stand trembling after he berated her. I don't know what this guy is doing, but Joey, when you've got a judge who's showing such animus that people start digging and saying, what is this about? You know, how fair is that to the victim?
Very unfair. Obviously, you want a judge that, you know, there needs to be propriety in any proceeding. That's what we put our faith and our confidence in. But you know what I was struck by, Judge? In listening to opening statements and in even the state's attorney trying to get in evidence without noticing the defense. Are you serious? If you're going to have a witness testify about a bullet in a driveway, should you not, and say it's a prior bad act and it's a sense of intimidation,
okay.
should you not?
Let me explain this to the viewers. Okay, a prosecution witness in response to a question about whether or not there was bad blood between Drew Peterson and this witness goes into the fact that he said something like, if she's a friend of yours, you're my enemy, meaning his ex-wife.
And left a bullet.
And then the witness adds, and I called him up and told him I got your message when I found the bullet. And, you know, haven't you as a prosecutor have witnesses like go off the reservation with stuff?
Oh, you have, Judge. But
you have, Mark, I can tell.
You have to anticipate, if you're the prosecutor, that's going to... Oh, you don't know? Because you prep your witnesses and they say things. Of course you do.
You tell them what to say, Joey?
No.
Are you admitting that?
No, you don't tell them, but you have an anticipation.
Come on, Jeff.
The state's attorney's office is not doing that good a job. There's nobody in that courtroom that really thinks they're doing a good job.
How can you do a good job when everything you object to... Let me ask you this, Jeff. The defense talks about the fact that Kathleen, the victim, was arrested by the defendant. The prosecution tries to explain what happened. Defendant arrests his own wife, throws her to the ground in front of his house, in front of his kids, right? And then when the prosecution tries to go into it, the judge says,
objection sustained.
Right,
In fact, the judge is making his own objections before the defense makes objections, and then the defense gets up and says, objection.
But, Jeff, in fairness, the reason for the arrest was there was a catfight between, right, Stacey?
Wait a minute, and let's tell the jury that she was acquitted, by the way, and let's tell the jury that she called the police 18 times. But you know what? I don't want to argue this case. Mark Furman. All right, Mark. The defense said in their opening, the only reason that this case has gone forward is because of the media coverage, and Peterson would not be on trial but for that. And you were involved in that. Were your ears ringing this week? Because they mentioned your name.
I was down there for probably 2 months working for Greta's show. And it's quite a compliment, but I think they give Greta and myself way too much credit. See, the only thing that the mistake made by the police and the prosecution is the very things that were on the autopsy. When we got that from the family, Dr. Bodden and I were looking at it in 2 different states, and we were on the phone with each other as soon as we got done reading, and we both said it, I mean, like simultaneous. This is a homicide. So we didn't do anything except for really state the obvious, something that nobody else was looking at until Stacey went missing. So it really wasn't anything but working on the facts.
But you know what, Judge? But here's the frustrating thing. Let's be clear about this. This whole case now becomes a homicide because they fear, right, there's a 4th wife missing, and now, you know what, I'm suspicious as a result of that wife being missing.
I disagree.
We turn it into a homicide.
I disagree. I disagree with this. They got caught reviewing the Savio case because Stacy was missing and they got caught. So they're trying to stick their finger in the
Joey,
dam,
do you think that they
bleeding.
should not? Let's assume that what Mark is saying is true, and that there was a cover-up, that he was a cop, that the DA trying this case now was not the DA then,
right.
okay? So what should they do, just leave her in the ground and not check it out?
No, I think what was done was appropriate. You exhume the body, you have a world-renowned pathologist take a look, as was done. You have two. You have Dr. Bloom, you have Dr. Bodden do it, but I think it's a lot to overcome because there's an initial autopsy which indicates it's an accident. How do you overcome that?
The problem is there really is very little case here. There's really little, and the invisible 800-pound gorilla is Stacy being missing,
and you can't talk about it.
And they can't talk about it.
You don't have to talk about it.
You have to, Mark.
No, you don't have to talk about it.
Every juror said they don't know anything. They don't read any newspapers. They don't watch TV.
There's two kinds of jurors: those that want to be on and those that are too stupid to get
this
off.
jury.
That's a classic. Two kinds of jurors. Those are the ones who want to get up. All right, here's the problem. It's not coming in, okay? That may or may not be. It's not coming in, nor should it be. It should be decided, I agree with Mark, based on the facts. So.